So what we'll do is when we have object one and object two, when we think that it's having a many-to-many relation, we're going to create one more object called a junction object. And here we create only two fields. That is, one is relation to the first object and second is relation to the second object. And if whatever the thing you think like object one is having multiple records to object two, how many multiple means you have like three, four, how many connections you're going to have. For each connection, you're going to create one record. So that one record will be, so okay, object one. So let's say OB1 is first record. I'll type it here so that it will be more clear. OB1, I'll say it as a 1, 1. OB1, 2. OB1, 3. OB1, 4. OB have this. Similarly, I want to have on the right side also. OB2 and OB2 to OB2 3, OB2 4. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is first I will erase and then take the first one. So I will have OB1, 1 here, and then we have a OB2, 1 is a one relation. Similarly, when we take the next, so how we have a relation OB1, 1 to OB2, 3, right? OB1, 1 to OB2, 3, and then we have OB1, 1 to OB2, 4. Like this. So what we're going to do is how many relations. So each line here you see as a each relation. For each line we're going to create a each record. So do you think are we wasting any space or do you think it's going to a complex here? So we're giving it as an optimized way, but we're trying to maintain a many to many. When you want to find how many childs it have for object 1, 1, then you can see you'll go to the junction object and you will see in the first field object 1 field how many are the object 1, 1. You see, okay, I have a 3 relations. Similarly, if the two they might have a relation, then they might not have a relation. When we say many to many, it will be 0 to n number of connections from left to right and right to left. They might have a connection, they might not have a connection, but if they have a connection, then just we'll create a one junction record. So we are not giving any blanks, we're not maintaining any blanks, just we are trying to optimize. So in Salesforce, this is how we create a junction objects and establish many to many relationship. So first one we explained is one to many. Here this is many to many, how we create. And one more example is There a possibility that we're trying to do a self relation. The self relation is there are some scenarios. Let's say our example of school, where there are schools who they're having a branches. Let's say Chetan Arena, all are like the owner or a corporate or proprietor, everybody will be same, but they open a different branch across the cities. But still, they're all from a same college, means same brand or whatever you think. So in that case, what's happening? So there will be common information again, but like the address and branch and again the permissions, everything will be different for the school. But we want to know how this schools are like self-organized. So they have kind of a tree structure, right? Okay, we having a medical college. Okay, so in medical college, how many branches you have? Okay, I have a engineering colleges. How many engineering colleges you have? Okay, I have a degree college. How many you have? We have a junior colleges. How many we have? We have a schools. How many? So there are a possibility. It's kind of a tree structure or a self relation. So in a simpler way, how we can understand was, so you have a one college, and in the so the they feel that they're doing good, and they have opened in one more stream called study. One is engineering, one is medical, degree. Both are different kind of educations, right? So they have this kind of thing. Then how we are going to handle this kind of scenarios? They are like all are like similar information. They don't have any different informations. But the thing was, we want to know who is the owner or who is the common person driving the business. So in these scenarios, what we'll do is all schools or colleges will be in the same object only, but we have to know which is a parent company or a parent college from where all this has been originated. So we want to know like that. So the thing that in in our terms, what we call it as a self relation. So when we have a object and where we are storing all colleges, and then what we call it as a, we relate one record with the other record in the same object. So what we call that relation is a self relation. The self relation is something that we relate to the same record in the object. Not drawing well. If you have same record and then we have a relation, then what we'll do was we'll create a relationship field, and that relationship field will not going to look at some other object. It will look at the same object. So it's going to be a, so when you're trying to create a record and you're trying to do a relation, whatever you do a search there, it will be already created records will be shown up there. So you have to search for what is the existing record that's going to be parent, and you have to save it. So this is the one type of relation called a self relation. Okay, any questions now? As I'm going to explain one more, and then we'll jump on to the fields, how to create them. And there is some more theory I need to explain before I need to jump on to the actually creating the things. Okay, there is one more relation called a hierarchical relation only in Salesforce. So this is also self-relation, also kind of hierarchical relation, but we don't create hierarchical relation. If you want to create hierarchical relation means what we create is nothing but a self relation. Though in Salesforce, there's an object called user. So we create a set of users, right? Where we create a profile, role, license, and we'll create a user, right? There we have, if you remember, there's one field called a manager field. That will be nothing but other user in an org. So that is kind of hierarchical relation where the users report to some person, and again the person will report to some other person. It kind of a tree structure. That is what the relation by default Salesforce